Hey guys, welcome to our review of Ultraman Zett, episode 24. I'm Cinder Blaze. With me today we have.
The frozen Stratos.
I'm Marisol.
Alright, let's jump right into it. And it's like the second to last episode, and they're just like, hey, here's what we were building up to. So we have this villain who just likes making people destroy their own planets. Yeah, that's it. Boom,
Gosh,
here you
it's a
go.
game!
Enjoy your finale.
It's really disappointing that all this amounts to is like, oh, this crazy dude just wants to mess with things.
Yeah.
There is no interesting motivation behind it.
Because it makes me feel like they just did that because they didn't have a reason. Because you don't really get, like, an idea that that's what's going on early on.
Yeah,
But
like he's not like too involved, or like he doesn't react too much to the escalating robots. Like, like who would be, honestly? Like I think the closest person to that would be Juggler, but like he's just, I think up until like this last one, that's the only one he kind of reacted to. It's like, ooh, now this is something I can use when they got the Ultroid Zero. But like this plot just kind of just like whatever. It's neat. It kind of it neatly got shoehorned into the series, but it's very obvious that it did get shoehorned. So that's all I can really like think. And it kind of sucks because like I care so little about Celebro that when he kind of like hijacks Yoko's body, I'm just kind of like, okay. I mean, I guess. Like, just like having that like lukewarm reaction to something that's supposed to be like a little more tragic.
Yeah.
It comes off like they could have set this up better, but we've been bitching about that the entire series, so there's no real point in like kind of reiterating it until maybe the finale.
I forgot my point. So we should just talk about something else.
Okay. They also still feel the need to be vague about Juggler's motivation. Because I went back and I watched the scene that we kind of weren't paying attention to, and he's just like speaking very vaguely about it. He's not really giving an answer for what he's doing.
I kind of want
like,
at the end of the show for him to tease once again that he'll come back as a villain or some shit. just to keep it going and then never follow up on it, because that's all it's been for a while.
Yeah. I'm just kind of waiting for him to like randomly win at the end of this series. Haruki's kind of like doing his all to beat Destrudo or whatever. Is that the name?
The Strudel?
I'm pretty sure. Destrudo.
Yeah,
Destrudos. Yeah. Yeah, that's the name of like a Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It's kind of weird to talk about in this context, but yeah, like if they just beat him and then like they're all just kind of like tired out and it's like, you know what, I got like a mech and you guys are all weak now. Like I don't care. Like they're so,
for all the reverence that this show has for previous shows, previous stories, and all that sort of stuff, they forgot to make a good one for themselves. And like, I get that for anniversary seasons, because there's that typical jank with those and too many cooks in the kitchen. But this one was a little more straightforward, and
I feel like they might have just panicked. Because we heard that the main writer died prior to the show airing. Like maybe they had a starting point and then just only had so much before they had to fill in all the gaps, and they just didn't know what to do.
Yeah, but like for a full series, like you've got to write a lot more before then, because they got to set up all the shoots and everything and all the CG. So it feels kind of baffling that they didn't really have anything. I think like probably towards the beginning when they had like G kind of come over and visit, they could do some stuff with, but like Gene isn't like a very proactive character. He's kind of just like one of those very reactive.
He was stock
ultras.
footage for all of one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's,
and like yeah, and he really didn't like care all too much about like other people in general. So it was like whatever. But he brought a lot of plot with him. Like
Sure,
he was
yeah.
also like one of the triggers for like getting the Belial power up, and a bunch of other like I think some like the highlight moments for the series he's kind of been involved with. And now that we're kind of like stepping into like the finale of the series, we have like a mechanical Zero, and like Zed just kind of like he's supposed to be a student, but there's just like no interaction between the two outside of like the little like blurb we get at the end of like episodes with like the voice drama, whatever. But that's not even like part of the show, so it just feels so like they just like kind of like took all like the like it feels like Zet's like part of like this whole world with like Zero and Jeed and like Belial and like all this other stuff, and they just took all that apart, kind of shoehorned Belial back in, but he just like without all this like the world building that they kind of had before, just kind of like it's falling apart.
I'd say like the weakest link of all of the team ups was Zet, because he just did not have anything to bring to the table in terms of like any story beats or any any good character beats so far. This is getting maybe a little bit too far into like full series analysis, but
I mean, yeah, but we're
just about there.
There's not much. There's nowhere really to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you're talking about how the series kind of references the past a lot, and I've mentioned before that the series reminds me a lot of X. This episode reminded me a lot of X's penultimate episode.
Oh wow.
There's a car driving scene where he's talking to one of his friends and has to in a panic reveal that he's Ultraman. There's the whole is Zed dead thing. There's a sudden appearance of a big bad who seemingly kills the Ultra for the series. There's a lot of little things where I'm like, are you referencing that, or is this just laziness?
Yeah.
And like,
are you falling back on what you know?
Yeah.
Do you only know how to end things a certain way?
Yeah, but like that, I feel like this is pretty common, at least with like the 3 full series like that I've watched. Like it happened like in Rube as well, where they just kind of like shot out the monster at the very last second, and then that was basically our finale. And then like for Jade, at least they were like building up towards it a little bit, but Belial did kind of just shoot out of nowhere at the very end, even though they were kind of like alluding towards it.
Yeah, but I mean, at least there you kind of knew Belial was always going to be like the end fight.
Yeah.
You kind of knew that's where it was always going to go. With this, I don't know if anybody knew that Desteros or whoever it is was going to be the final thing. No one knew what Celebro wanted to do.
He wanted to play video games alone and unbothered.
Yeah. and then Zed stole from his metal collection.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he needed that
to like.
I think that did allow like their whole power set to kind of get escalated a little bit, because I know they combined monsters for most of the villains for this show, and I think Stratos it's like 5 of them put together or something like that, but just like so many parts that you can't really tell like what the original pieces were. I had to like look on the wiki just like double check for that dude.
Yeah. With the exception of Red King's whole torso right on his shoulder.
Oh yeah, we've had way too much Red King, so we've seen enough of that.
Like, while we are kind of like down, we've talked most in negatives for this episode so far. I actually did have a lot of fun watching it, just because of wild shit like the seeing Ultroid Zero plunge his entire arm into Red King. Just
good
funny
wholesome
shit.
stuff like impalement with an arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was actually pretty like fun. Yeah, let's talk about that. Like when Yoko becomes, possessed and just goes on this like rampage. By the way, freaking Ultraman Zero climbing out of that building for no damn reason. He climbs out and then just shoots his rocket shoes like every other robot, and it's like, fine. But like, he didn't seem like too powerful in like the previous episode. Like, he definitely was like very strong, but like not so much that like Zett couldn't beat him, especially with like his gold form and
2 nukes by your calculation.
Yeah, like 2 to 3 nukes. Like they're because Celebro was kind of like hyping this up as like, oh, this machine is gonna like end civilization on Earth. And I'm just like, come on, like he's a strong robot, but like he can't possibly just like
you
beat it, like, or destroy the entire.
You keep forgetting that they always have the biggest weapon in its arsenal on a leash, and they rarely want to use it. Like the people piloting it rarely want to use it, and when they do, the fabric of space and time begin to collapse.
Yes, but it only collapses for like one city, and then it has to charge.
One city.
Only one city full of
one city, and then we turn it off. All right. Just...
They had to stop it from growing. The first episode, they had to stop that crack from growing by, admittedly, just shooting a laser at it. But at least it was like, oh, that power is contained, because otherwise, unfettered, it will continue to consume.
And now that power is inside of a giant monster.
Yes! Which is, I guess, worth about 3 to 4 nukes of danger.
Which is weird, because they haven't done that, and at the end of the episode, we get confirmation that's destroyed most of the world's major cities.
Yeah. And we also can confirm that America is here with tons of nukes.
Not gonna lie, I did not expect to make so much progress in one fucking day. Like, honestly, when it was hopping around the world like Santa Claus, sucking up a kaiju here, there, like even here in the States, I'm just like, okay,
yeah,
maybe he could end civilization as we know it.
Right? Someone in the comments, please help Alex understand the threat level of the fabric of reality unraveling.
Yeah, but Corey, now it has the power to move about the world like Santa Claus. That makes it the most dangerous being in existence.
Oh, excuse me. Worth about 4 to 5 nukes.
We need to take out Santa. It's never been done.
Yeah, this is a Santa level threat.
Yeah. Kids, you better leave some cookies out or Santa's coming to get you. Oh, man.
Sorry,
threat
I forgot
level
that it was growing.
Ho mega.
Okay, you know what? That pun was so bad. Let's just move on to comments.
All right.
All right. So, sorry I posted this really late. So there's only one comment that came in. Extra says, well, we finally know what Celebra's plan is. It only took the second to last episode. He's still lame, but at least he's slightly more fleshed out. I do like the twist of him possessing Yoko, though. Anyways, looking forward to the finale. While not the best, it's a pretty fun series. I'm sure the last episode will be a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Like, all it has to do is work off of the strengths of the characters, because the characters are their biggest asset.
Yeah. I think like the premise of the last episode is going to be like a rescue Yoko mission, and considering that one of my favorite parts of this show was the storage team, kind of like seeing them band together and trying to like save one of their own. I feel like they set it up pretty well to have at least a really satisfying finale for this series. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No.
All right. Well, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, check the description for everything that's down there. Catch you later. Keep it juicy.
We're really lucky that Santa's so nice. I'm just saying.
Imagine a naughtier Santa.
So that was Celebro's plan.
Evil Santa Claus.
The show is gonna end next week. It is Christmas.